What's up, my friends? It is the Doctor, Dr. Remy LeBeau, and I'm here in the X-Lair, ready to cure you of all your terrible illnesses associated with you just not having enough super cool X-Men statues in your life. I know it can be very harmful to one's physiological state. It's a rough situation, and I'm here to help. Today's cure is probably the biggest statue I have. It's the ginormous version of my namesake, my brother, Remy LeBeau, custom statue, action galore, enormous, dynamic, fantastic, here to provide you with some eye candy entertainment that is going to potentially kill me because it's so big it's hard to even turn around. Look at this. It's just enormous, but it's like very dynamic and very well done. As far as the design goes, it's very well done, and it's certainly been one of the prizes in my collection for uh, the better part of 2 years now, maybe over 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's been a while. I've had this guy for a while. I remember finding him online. So this is a custom piece. It was created by a sculptor in the Philippines. So there's like, as I've mentioned before in other custom videos, other custom statue videos, there's like these sculptors in the Philippines that sometimes will, not sometimes, often produce statues for a group of collectors that commission a particular character in a particular size that they're interested in getting. Something that one of the major companies like Sideshow Collectibles or Bowen Designs isn't planning on making, and collectors just don't have the patience to wait for them to potentially get made, or just accept the fact that they're not getting made. So they aggressively go after, um, these producers to get the statues they want made. So this bad boy was commissioned. I found out about it. I was like, I want to get in on this because, of course, I don't know if you've noticed, but I tend to have a slight I'm in love with Gambit. I'm in love with Gambit. I have been ever since I first started collecting. He was my favorite X-Men. There's something about him that just immediately just made me love him as a character. Maybe it was the design, maybe it was the Cajun accent. Actually, it might have been the Cajun accent. I was taking French at the time in high school, and I was reading the vampire books by Anne Rice as well. So maybe that influenced my decision to like him. I haven't actually analyzed this yet, and now it's all starting to make sense. You make sense now. You make sense. You complete me. Okay, so I found this guy and I was like, I'm in. I'm totally in. So I paid my deposit, and of course, so like like I've said in the past, like with these producers in the Philippines, you can get like a really great experience out of it, or you can get like a terrible experience out of it. Now I'm not going to mention who made this because I don't like to badmouth people, but the person that made this was probably the worst person I've ever dealt with as far as like customer service and following through with the promises as far as like timetables, etc., and quality as well. Like, I mean, I was told it would be like 6 months, and then it became a year, and then it became like over a year, and then I had to just start coercing him to finally get the statue done and send it to me. This is after having put in like a deposit. You put in a deposit of like 200 or 300 bucks. A piece like this, I think this wound up costing me like 700 bucks shipped, something along those lines. Like a fairly big chunk of money. It wasn't just a few bucks that were thrown towards like these folks that if you consider the exchange rate shouldn't be charging as much as they are, but whatever. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to try to in some way change that situation because it is what it is. They charge what American companies would charge in American dollars, which again it's a little bit absurd, but whatever. The people that are interested in getting these, like myself, are willing to pay a certain amount in American dollars because we're not always thinking in exchange rates for these statues. But as soon as you make a payment for something like this, like you expect good customer service, you expect follow through to be, consistent with what you promised. And that was not the case with the statue. As I said, it took a lot of work to finally get the statue sent to me. And it's like you're told one thing, you're told, oh, it's been sent out, and then it turns out it wasn't sent out, that sort of thing. And that went on a few times, and then finally, after so long, it was sent to me, and I got it. I was just like really relieved to get it. I wasn't even being critical of the statue at the time because it had been so long. It was like such delayed gratification that when I finally got it, I was just like, yes, beautiful statue in my hands. I'm so ecstatic, right? So after a bit of time, I started to realize, wait a minute, they did a pretty poor job on this. Like okay, so the coat itself, the coat is super great, and it's just fantastic. It's just well crafted and well painted. But the paint job on the rest of him, on his face, on his body, on the base, it was just so sloppy, and the colors were terrible. Like it was like a bright pink color that they chose for for like the majority of his shirt, whatever it is that he's wearing. Um, and the base was like black and white, but it was like checkered black and white. Like now it's red and black, black and white. I essentially repainted it, but I repainted everything actually except for the coat. Uh, there were a lot of problems with it, and they eventually started to settle in as problems. Given that I I finally realized, okay, it's time to actually like think about what is wrong about this strategy, because I remember even though I had that instant gratification moment, I immediately kind of started to realize, wait a minute, there's something kind of wrong here. There's something kind of wrong with this statue. I don't quite know what it is, and of course eventually I realized, okay, sloppy paint job. I gotta do something about it. So as I got better at painting, I was like, you know what, this is bad enough. This statue was painted bad enough that like anything I do to it is going to improve it. And so I was willing to take the chance that I would not do a great job painting it, given that I have like a very sort of rudimentary skill set when it comes to painting. Um, uh, I was willing to take the chance because it was I don't think it could have been I don't think it could have gone any worse. Um, so I'll get into the things that I repainted in a second. Well, I'm going to talk about the statue itself first, because the statue itself is like super impressive. Like I don't have a complaint about the actual statue, because that is what drew me in. Like I saw photos of it, and I was like, oh my god, this thing is incredible. And I didn't even realize how big it was going to be. The box that it came in was freaking huge. It was like it's like the size of a refrigerator. It was just like enormous. Um, I actually got rid of the box. I couldn't keep the box because it just took up so much room. Like I mean, us collectors, like we know, as I've mentioned before, we have to keep the boxes for the statues, because if you ever want to resell them, you want to have the box. But like for this one, I just couldn't keep the box. It was just so big. I just had to get rid of it. Uh, anyway, so as I said, the statue amazing. Okay, obviously, what the first thing that kind of jumps out at anyone that looks at this is the translucent energy stream that has him throwing his cards, right? I mean, this is like classic Gambit. Like this is like I'm just shocked that nobody else has done this yet, and that's why I was like so willing to like get this statue, because I mean just that one feature. I remember actually I had an action figure. It was like one of those like I forget what it was called, like Marvel Milestone or something. It was like a higher quality like action figure that had him with like an energy stream, and like I remember like there was like a light up feature to it as well. And it was just one of my favorite action figures that I had growing up, and so I mean obviously that is like Gambit's signature like power move, and that is what I've always wanted to see in a Gambit statue. I have not seen that. I like so I So when I got this guy, when I first saw him, I don't think I had gotten the Sideshow Premium Format figure yet and it was still on pre-order. The Bowen statue I had been disappointed with. I didn't like it, and so I sold it off, and I was done with that. Um, there was really like a black hole in my life in regards to, at least in my statue collecting life, in regards to Gambit statues. So the fact that it had this energy stream, it was just that immediately sold me essentially, and so that's why I ended up basically committing to it. And it didn't disappoint. It's like translucent. It's got like all sorts of interesting colors to it, reds and oranges and yellows, and then there's actual like playing cards in the resin. Um, like four of them coming out. Actually being the cards that he's shooting out, which is just beautiful. It's just exactly what you want from this sort of effect in a statue. In an attempt to capture Gambit's powers in 3 dimensions in a dynamic posed statue. It's great. The guy did a great job with it. So this I'm just happy about, and it's like very interesting the way he did it. Like, so it connects to like his leg here. It's something that I had never had a problem with. I know another collector online, who got this statue and actually got one of these broken. He got it secondhand from somebody else. This was broken. He actually cut this off so it wouldn't connect to the leg, and it just kind of like stands on its own. It's just uh, nothing's like holding it on this end. It just kind of ends here, I think, and it works really nicely. And if it works, it works great. But I mean, I never really had a problem with this connecting to the leg, so I'm cool with that, and I'm happy with it, so it's fine. Um, and then on the hand, I don't think I took a good close up of the hand, unfortunately, but it's like it's weird. It's like so the hand. I'm pretty sure the hand goes into the arm, like like this energy stream came separately. I don't want to take it out because it's hard to get it back in. Um, but that well, huge thing. Must be careful. Um, this is all basically resin covering the hand here, and then you've got like his fingers and stuff. But it's a very like well crafted, elaborate, and just well executed um, energy stream. It's just beautiful. He did a great job. I have no problems with the guy as in regards to like his talent as a sculptor. He does great work. This is a great job, without a doubt. Especially the energy stream, just fantastic. Another standout feature is the Fricken Coat. It's just so dynamic and amazing. Um, it's painted in like a glossy brown. There's so much detail to it. I mean, there's even pockets in the back. You've got the coat like belt on it, and then you've got like all these buckles on the arms. There's like wrinkles all over the place. Um, you got the collar, and then in front, here you've got obviously the collar, and just it's just great. It's like it's flowing. It's just dynamic. It's beautiful. It's a great design. It's a super great design, and it's a tribute to the dude's like ability to sculpt. It's unfortunate that he doesn't hire people to, deal with his customers and just try to manage his business better so that he's able to follow through on promises to customers to the point where he doesn't piss them off, because I'm sure he would retain more customers and people would want more pieces from the guy. I mean, whatever. I mean, to each their own. I never went back to the guy. I never went back to the guy. Anyway, um, all right. So the coat and the energy stream, fantastic. No complaints. I did nothing with those. Left them alone. Always going to be happy with those. Just two great features of the statue, and my hat is obviously off to the dude, like for those features. Okay, the base. The base is really interesting. It's a really interesting design. It's kind of like this. It looks like a broken off piece of pavement, or like floor from like maybe like a black and white tiled like bathroom floor, or or maybe like the floor from like a car, like a poker parlor or something. where he's like playing some poker, um, trying to win some quiche, or maybe trying to scope the place out so he can rob him blind, because he is a master thief, having been trained at the Thieves Guild. I'm pretty sure. Um, so it's an interesting design, and it's actually very well crafted. What I did is I repainted the white blocks red. It's actually something I need to repaint again. I only gave it one coat, and I should repaint it again eventually, but it looks fine. And then around it, like sort of the edges that sort of represent the broken layer, like the lower layer of the floor. I kind of gave like a black glossy paint job to it, and it actually looks very nice as well. So I'm happy with what I did with the with the base colors. Initially it was fine, but it was kind of sloppy, and it wasn't as nice as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like glossy and look kind of like a nice sort of freshly tiled floor, but it was like it was painted in a sloppy manner. And anyway, repainted, done, better now. All right, the boots. The boots were like a bright silver, and they were kind of crappy. So what I did is I kind of gave them. So what I did with the overall piece is like I kind of painted it after the paint job from the Sideshow Premium Format figure statue. So so the boots kind of have like this gunmetal color now, and that's the color that I tried to mimic from the Sideshow figure, and I think I did a really nice job. They came out a lot better than they were, and just overall it just looks better. Then the legs, I wanted to do like a really glossy paint job on the pants, on the stretchy whatever he's wearing, but that didn't come out too well, and so I kind of matted it down, gave it like more of a matte look, and it actually came out very nice. As you can see, like the boots and the legs are sculpted really great. So again, just going back to the actual sculpt itself, it's a great job, like fantastic. So and I've taken a lot of photos of it. You can check those out online. I mean, the legs are great. They're in a great position. They're scaled properly. The boots are sculpted really nicely. You got all the layers going down from the knee all the way down to the boot, um, all the way down to the foot. It's just everything's very nicely done, smoothed out nicely. You've got these sort of weird knee pads that Gambit has. They look great. Great job on the actual sculpt. Um, and then of course there's like these, like kind of like that dotted line stripe that goes down the side of his pants. And again, they were sculpted really nicely, and the only problem was is that there was like this bright pink color used for it. So what I did is I took kind of like a violet and I mixed in some silver, and I got kind of like a silver, like a metallic-y violet color. Um, and that's what I painted the stripes on his leg with, and also his torso. So I think it was a really good choice. I love the way it came out. It's not like this bright pink, even though here you can see it's like bright pink, but it doesn't look that great. It's like bright pink. Like I think it looks better as kind of like this dulled violet. Um, it just looks a little bit more stylish and just nicer overall. As you can see, the torso, and I took a lot of photos of the torso, just really nicely sculpted. Like the musculature is very nice. Like I'm gonna say it again. I've been saying it a lot. The dude that sculpted this, super talented, does a great job. He's and that's the last time I'm gonna say that, because it's obvious the guy does a good job. So you can see just it's everything's really nice about it, and it just needed a repaint. I did some highlights with black, some black shading on the musculature, and it came out really nice. Came out really nice. And then of course you've got like this part below his neck that has like all the silver lines, and again I use the gunmetal silver there, and and I think on the actual lines he didn't actually paint them silver. They were all just kind of blue. Um, Again, that was just part of like the sloppy paint job. So I painted those in, and it looks really nice, and it's more sort of comic accurate, and just is a nicer sort of final effect, that the kind of final effect you're looking for when you're looking at a really nice Gambit piece. You want everything to be kind of in place, and that's one of the things that should have been in place to begin with. The head guard, I didn't touch the head guard, and I didn't touch the hair. Like the head guard and the hair done really nicely. The paint job was fine. The hair is very dynamic and cool. Some people have a problem with it, but I like it. I think it looks really nice. So that's fine. His face, there were a lot of problems with it. Um, like there was just like it was done in a very sloppy way. I fixed the eyes a bit. They were done in a very sloppy way. Um, I gave him like a 5 o'clock shadow. His teeth were terrible. I think some of them they were slightly pink. Like there wasn't much effort put into to actually making them white. So I mean, I think the problem was that they were just rushing it. I had forced them to get it to me finally after after a year, after over a year, and then in the end, it was obvious that they did not have it done, and so they just kind of threw whatever they could together and sent it out to me. So whatever, I repainted it, repainted the face. It came out really nice. I think it looks really great, and I'm really happy with it. And as you can see, now it is a very impressive statue, not just in the sculpt but in the paint job as well. Obviously, a professional painter could do a better job. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's better than it was, and it complements the overall sculpt better, which is amazing. And that's ultimately what a statue like this is about, the actual sculpt itself. And the sculpt itself is amazing. And so that is why I've never gotten rid of this piece, and that is why I'm never going to get rid of this piece, because I really, really love it. It's just beautiful, and I hope that Bowen does like a 1/6 scale dynamic pose like this of Gambit. I think they would do a better job than this, and they have the talent to do it and pull it off in a way that will just like blow any Gambit statue out of the water. So hopefully that gets done at some point. Um, for those of you that are looking for this statue, there are some of these out there, but it's very limited. I forget how many were made. It was either 20 or 50. Um, I know that one dude was looking for one and he happened to find one, but I, and I know that the guy that made these isn't making any more of them, so it's going to be a challenge for anybody that's looking for one. I would go on statueforum.com and on eBay every now and then to look for it. Uh, Sometimes people that have bought it are looking to get rid of theirs, but if you do get it, you might have to get it repainted. Just part of the that's just part of of the journey of trying to get this statue and get it to the point that you wanted to, as far as quality and accuracy for the character. All right, folks, that pretty much does it here. I hope you guys enjoyed my little review of this amazingly huge and fantastic Gambit statue. One of my favorite pieces. Obviously, I have so many pieces, like it's hard to put them in a hierarchy. But I mean, I will say that this is the largest Gambit statue I have. Um, I like the premium format figure by Sideshow Collectibles better than this statue, just because the quality is better and it's just kind of cooler overall. But this is a close second to that one as far as Gambit statues go. As far as the Gambit statues I have go. All right, folks. Well, thank you again for checking out my videos and my blog. My blog is X-Men Statues of Future Past.blogspot.com. My YouTube channel is Dr. Remy LeBeau's X-Lair. And as always, X in the box because ain't nobody checking me. I'll catch y'all soon. Take care of yourselves and keep collecting. Bye-bye.